Just tell me when. Okay, so first we're going to do the Allen's test. And before you do a blood gas, you should check for what's called collateral circulation. Collateral circulation is blood flow through the radial artery, which is by the thumb, and blood flow through the ulnar artery, which is by the pinky. So what we want to make sure of is ulnar circulation, just in case we put a hematoma on the radial side, which most of the time we won't do, but that is a side effect sometimes of arterial blood gases. So what you first want to do is have the patient make a fist, and then you're going to put pressure on the radial and ulnar sides. You're going to have the patient open up her hand and note that it's blanched. Then you're going to let go of the ulnar side, and it's going to pink up. Once it pinks up, you know that she has collateral circulation, and that's called a positive Allen's test, and it means we can go ahead and stick the artery. And it should pink up within 3 seconds. And it did. It was like 1 second. So now I'm going to go ahead and open up my kit, get everything out of it that you need. Sorry. And everything that you don't need, you can put to the side. So you definitely need gauze and you need alcohol. Which is really in there, of course. Okay. Then you also need to make sure that you pull back on your syringe to make sure that it's free flowing, and you want to get about 1.5 milliliters of blood. You could get the whole syringe, but really nowadays most common ABG machines really only require a less than 0.5 milliliters, but you want to get enough just in case you have to run it again on a different machine. And then you want to have these standing by, and you want to have your Band-Aid ready to go. I usually just put it on the patient. This longer syringe is for the brachial artery or the femoral artery. So what we're going to do is do the radial artery. So you want to make sure that your bevel is facing up. Your patient's nice and relaxed. You're going to tell them what you're going to do. You're going to clean the site with alcohol and let it dry. You're going to put your gauze right next to where you're going to draw, and then you're going to feel for a pulse. And she has a nice pulse. You should feel with 2 fingers. And then you're just going to tell the patient to relax and take a deep breath. And 1, 2, 3, you're going to feel a poke. You're going to let the blood flow. Now, if I wouldn't have gotten that right away, you would have to redirect. And you can redirect 3 times before taking it out. So you want to let that blood flow all the way up until it hits the heparin. And once it hits the heparin, you can take it out. And that's why it's so important to have this gauze right next to the needle, because as soon as it hits the heparin, you're going to quickly remove the needle and secure it. And then you're going to hold pressure for a good 2 minutes. Unless they're on blood thinners, then you're going to hold it for 5 minutes at least. If they're on blood thinners and you drew it from the radial artery, which would be right here, you would have to hold it for 5 minutes. If they're on blood thinners, you can hold it up to 10 minutes even, because it tends to bleed more because it's a bigger artery. So then you're just gonna, once you held pressure for 2 minutes, you put the Band-Aid on. I know it hasn't been 2 minutes, but I'm not gonna sit here for 2 minutes because Amanda can hold her own pressure.
I wanted the lasting real effect.
Yeah. And that's how you draw blood gas. Stay tuned, we're gonna show you on the arm how not to draw blood gas.